Really important day, folks. Obviously today is Eddie's last day. Really sad day. I've only known Eddie for a couple of years. Obviously I've only been here for a couple of years. And as Ed will see what I wrote in his card, the one true gentleman of train control is standing right here next to me. It's not to my right hand side. So, from my perspective, Eddie, thank you so much for your time here at V-Line and the other versions of V-Line that you've been a part of. You've been involved in the rail system for a bloody long time. That I'm sure you've seen more changes here than most of us could even dream about. Obviously there's more to come, but unfortunately you're going to miss out on, my friend. But I want to take this opportunity to say really go and enjoy your retirement. And get out and do all the things that you've never been able to do because of the stupid shift work and working weekends and all of that sort of stuff. I'm sure your wife is hanging out to actually get some of your real time. Thank you so much for your service. We really appreciate what you've done for us. And I'm going to get Kevin to actually say a few words.
I'm no good at this. What do I say about this bloke? He taught me everything I don't know. And everything I know. We do some social activities together. This is the kind of bloke he is. So we do some social activities together. He took me, you went fishing, yeah? Oh, I didn't want to fish, so we take some photos and stuff, and he goes fishing, and we get to the last day, he's caught nothing, not a thing. But there's a guy down the bank who looks like he's got one, right? Not sure, but he hasn't got a net. Eddie grabs his net, runs all the way down there to help him out. They lose it, but on the way back, Eddie says, "My rod's moved." He had the one catch for the day on the day he was trying to help somebody else. That's what Eddie does. He's always been there to help everybody else, right? Always, always. It's been a pleasure working with him. I know you guys are all thinking the same. It's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy your retirement, mate. And the IOC have bought, or IOC have bought you. They've got a card. Thanks, mate. And a little present.
Oh, a little present. Oh.
We know you know how to use it. So.
Is that an item at an IRS?
We know he knows how to use it. So.
You want me to open it now?
Yeah, open it up. Everybody will have a laugh. Everybody will have a laugh.
I didn't have to stand in line for this.
Oh, you got me off yours. Everyone uses the internet. I still use the Melways. And a big one.
Always use the Melways.
Oh, that's beautiful. And a Victorian one. Oh, great. I can find those fishing spots now in the caravan park.
All the best, mate. All right.
Oh, beautiful. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Want to have a bit of a chat, Eddie?
Well, I suppose I better say, I'm going to be brief.
I'd like to say a few words, mate.
All right. Sorry, Dave wants to say
No,
something.
you're right. Be quiet. Last 30-odd years, I've lost count of what they were, but anyway, from the work side, and also the, more important, the social side, Julie and I and the family would like to wish you and Sue and the family all the best for the future, mate. For the time of working with you, it's been interesting. We've had our offsides, onsides, but it's been an experience. And all the best for the future, mate. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
I'll say something.
Oh, you want to say something?
I've got a list here, see, so I thought, now, what can I say on the way in here? I got kicked out of the last one I read out
very
the
good. Thank you.
presentation.
Right. It means I can say less now because the food's getting cold.
That's all right, just hanging on your head, that's all right. No, Ed started in train control about 39 years ago, about the same time as me. He came from number 1 signal box, which I know people don't know what that is, but that was a signal box that used to control all the trains in and out of Flinders Street. So all the revenue trains in the metropolitan area either originated or terminated there. Eddie, most of the people who worked there never got there until they were about the mid-50s. Eddie was the late 20s, early 30s when he was there. He came from there to train control. In train control in those days, it was a very aggressive sort of place. We had a knockout in the first 3 weeks because there was no training in those days. You just got in, did the job. If you got through it, you passed. If you didn't, you were out. So basically, it had a 75% dropout rate in the first 3 weeks. Not long after when we started up, they did start to bring in doing classes before people went into train control. They thought it might be a bad idea. But it was a big class, it was only for 1 week. But it gradually progressed, which was very good. With the suburban train control that Eddie and I were doing, there was only 3 people who controlled all the metropolitan train services in those days. And I can remember when I say I was aggressive sort of a place and you get into trouble pretty easily, Eddie one day, which he shouldn't be doing there, he was told by the chief train controller to regulate himself better because he ran out to the toilet and went back in 90 seconds and he got told, that was in an 8-hour shift, but only once, and he got in big trouble over that.
Don't give Scott Wheeler any ideas.
Hey, and it wasn't.
So while I'm recording it.
And what else was there? Let's see. Oh, and also too, when I said it was an aggressive sort of a place there was one chief train controller, Bob Humphries. You remember Bob?
Yeah,
And no one was ever going to make it. And he used to go around and tell everyone that bloke was never going to make it. Over the shoulders. True story, unfortunately. What else can we tell? Let's see, I'll try and find out. I'm trying to give you too much to do there. Right, Ed's seen many changes. Ed's always been very, very dependable. He's got a distinctive voice. And when I used to get an after-hour call at home, my wife could always tell when Eddie was on the phone because you could hear his voice. But anyway, what else have we got there? Eddie, one thing with Eddie, he was very thorough when you did a changeover in the shift. He was always very thorough to change over, and whenever you got a changeover from him, if you didn't know something, well, obviously what didn't happen, or it happened on your shift, not his. And when Eddie was the chief, and we were taken over by the Americans, and one of the general manager came in when his first day there, and Eddie was giving me a changeover. And he just elbowed the bloke out of the way because Eddie wanted to be thorough about how the changeover he gave me. And I had to try, and then he just spat the dummy and left. So I had to go and try and square off with him after it. But I got a good changeover off Eddie, so I never missed anything.
No one can bring during changeover? No
I
one?
didn't say that, but that's another thing too. With Eddie, when we were doing training, whether it was a manual or an instruction, we used to get Eddie to read through the documents, and if it wasn't crystal clear, Eddie would constructively let you know, and we'd change it immediately. So whenever we would bring in something, I said, "Does it pass the Eddie test?" So if Eddie had read through it or been trained in it, and he had no problems, well, there was no problems with it there. I'm just trying to think of all the things in the past. I don't know whether you were involved when they... No, I better not say. Yeah. Yeah, over the old building, which there used to be sometimes people on night shift, which they must have been a little bit quieter than what they have been. But anyway, they played cricket, and whatever they did, they broke the window above the chief train controller's office. And because nobody knew exactly who did it. I don't know it was you, because I know you were a keen cricketer.
There is a few involved, Les McLean was another.
I see.
Now.
Oh, I see, yeah. No, and it's like one time when, you know, when with train controllers and that, you'd never got sort of Christmas Day off because you're working, and somebody decided, Dave Borden, I don't know if this train controller brought in a barbecue, so he thought he'd have a barbecue in the train control area, and he did. He lit up the barbecue and, you know, had nice sausages and chops and that sort of stuff. And then about 2 hours later, after everybody had their barbecue, the night watchman came around and he said, "Can you smell something?" We'll say, "No, I can't smell anything." And for about 2 weeks later, everyone could smell barbecue in the whole head office for the four floors. But, anyway, then, what else have we got there, Ed? I can't think of anything else I can hang on too much to you. Okay. Anyway, I'd just like to wish you all the best, and hope you
Thanks, Richard.
good fishing, and have good times with your grandchildren and that sort of stuff. Yeah,
Thank you,
all the
Richard.
best. Good on you.
Okay. All right,
The floor is yours.
I'm not one for speeches, so I'm going to keep this reasonably short. First of all, I'd like to thank Scott and Richard, David and Kev for their kind words, most appreciated. I'd also like to thank Scott, Matt and Sherilyn for putting on my little send-off. Most appreciated once again.
Our pleasure.
And just like to say, yeah, my years at N-Rail, I've been 52 years. I've enjoyed every minute of it. There was some tough times, especially when we were with Freight Victoria and Freight Australia. But I've worked with a lot of great people, and that's in and out of train controller. Met a lot of really nice people, some real colourful characters over the years as well.
Michael's over there.
Yeah, another colourful character. Yeah. But
Speak
no,
about
look,
someone else then.
I don't really have any great stories to tell you. I could tell you one, but I don't know if you. When I first came into train control, I worked in the metro area first of all, and then I learnt the Ballarat room. And not long after I learnt the Ballarat room, I was working one morning, and I decided to do a cross with the overland and a suburban passenger service. Anyway, I decided that I'd run the overland through number 2 road at Parwin, and the Parwin in those days was manned, but it was only a very short crossing place where the overland wouldn't have fitted in as it was. So I bought I told the staff at Parwin to bring the passenger train, the stopper, into platform 1 and run the overland through 2. And of course, the young guy there said, "You can't do that. We have a rule. There's a rule here. The overland's not, any express trains are not allowed to run through 2. So I've said, well, I haven't read it. I haven't seen the rule. So, you know, just do as you're told. So he's ran the overland through number 2 road. About a minute later, I get this Parwin urgent, and the 2 locomotives and 5 carriages of the overland had derailed in number 2 road. I thought, I'm really in bad here. Anyway, Ronnie Johnson, who was the chief train controllers, came in, said to me, "Ed, you've done the wrong thing here, we're going to have to stand you down." I said, "Look, there's no ruling to say you can't put express passenger trains through number 2 road." He said, "I think you're wrong, Ed." Anyway, I was stood down for about half an hour, and then Alan Hales, who was the superintendent of safe working, came in and said, "Ed, we're going to reinstate you. It's only a local ruling at Parwin itself, but there's nothing to say you couldn't have done the move, but we're certainly going to change that as a matter." So yeah, so that was, I got out of that one, but I never tried it again. But all in all, look, I've had a great run. I've had a great time. I've been just on 40 years in train control, and over 50 years with V-Line and various rail. As I said, I've enjoyed it, but I am looking forward to retirement. My time's up, and leave it to all you young guys and everything to keep going. But thanks very much. I have enjoyed it. Let's see.
2 more things from me before Kev starts hoeing in like he already has. We've got 3 train controllers in the building. Folks, make yourself known to them. Vicky, Ash and Steph, put your hands up. Put your hands up and wave them around so people can see who you are. Excellent, well done. And Rowan has turned 40 today. Ratio doesn't look a day over 23.
27 children.
He looks a bit different from his old man, doesn't he?
Owen,